First at 4, targeting a school security guard. We have the judge's decision on a lawsuit connected to the Oxford High School shooting. Also, a legal flip-flop from former President Donald Trump. Why he's doing something he once said innocent people just don't do. And here's Kim DeGiulio.
It's a different type of dog training that your dog likely hasn't experienced. I'm talking about learning how to detect explosives. I'll take you to LCA where testing is happening today, and I'll show you how it all works.
Nice and quiet here in Metro Detroit. There are a few showers down to our south, but a cold front is coming, and that has changed the forecast just a little bit. We'll talk about it coming up first at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4. A school security guard has now been added as a defendant in a lawsuit against the Oxford School District. A judge approved the motion today after it was announced and filed by attorney Ben Johnson last week. He says surveillance video shows the security guard may have been able to stop the gunman at one point during the shooting at Oxford High School last November. We are told the video shows her opening the door to a bathroom with the alleged gunman inside and then walking away. We have not been able to reach the guard for her response to these claims. Testimony underway in the retrial of 2 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Both sides started with opening statements regarding Adam Fox and Barry Croft Jr. this morning. Prosecutors say they were ready to act on a plan to grab Whitmer. The defense maintains there was no plan and no crime. Earlier this year, a jury could not reach a verdict for Fox and Croft. 2 others were acquitted, but another 2 defendants pleaded guilty as part of a plea deal. Sean Lay is at the courthouse this afternoon in Grand Rapids and will bring you highlights from today's testimony live at 5. Frustration is growing this afternoon along the Huron River over a chemical released into the water, and the state just issued violations against the manufacturing company involved. The Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy served notices to Tri-Bar Manufacturing yesterday. It was cited for failing to immediately notify the state after discovering that discharge, sending an unauthorized discharge of pollutants to the water treatment facility, and failing to maintain an updated plan to prevent pollution. The company has 10 days to respond. Many people who live along the river are calling for more action.
Shut them down! Shut them down! Shut them down! Shut them down!
This protest was held in Milford. We'll have expanded coverage of their demands at 6. We've also reached out to Tri-Bar for a new response to the latest developments, and we're waiting to hear back. A historic announcement today from Ford and DTE Energy. The automaker is making the largest ever renewable energy purchase from a utility. The purchase through DTE's Michigan Green Power program will add 650 megawatts of new solar energy to the automaker's Michigan footprint. It will also allow Ford to avoid up to 600,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions from its plants. The automaker previously announced a goal to power all of its global facilities with renewable energy by 2035. Ford says this is a big move.
Our agreement with DTE will mean that soon all of the Ford electricity in the state of Michigan that powers all these huge plants, all of our powertrain plants throughout the state, will now be attributed to clean sources of energy. And that is a really big deal for our community and our company.
Ford says it will go completely carbon neutral by the year 2050. Well, we've had our ups and downs this summer, but it looks like we are in a pretty good place in the forewarned forecast for tonight. Let's check in with meteorologist Kim Adams. Kim.
Well, Karen, it is just beautiful outside. It's really been one of the best weeks so far of the summer. We have temperatures right now exactly where we expected them to be. It's 83 out at Metro Airport. The forecast high today was 84. I expect us to hit that here within the next hour. 85 at City Airport, a little cooler up in Pontiac and also in Mount Clemens with temps right now in the upper 70s. Guardians take on the Tigers again tonight, and wow, what a gorgeous night out at the ballpark. Even if you don't have tickets, you might want to think about going out and going tonight and getting those tickets, because we don't get many days like this at the ballpark. It's just going to be gorgeous. Low humidity tonight, 76. First pitch is at 7:10. And then by the end of the game, around 10 o'clock, temperatures will be in the mid 60s. Little change, a little tweak for the weekend forecast. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Kim. Former President Donald Trump did something today he used to say innocent people just don't do. Mr. Trump pleaded the Fifth Amendment while facing questions about his business dealings. The high-stakes confrontation happened in New York. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom to talk about what's changed for the former president. Kim.
Karen, the former president says he's changed his mind because his family and company have become the targets of what he calls a politically motivated witch hunt. It's a defense that he's used many times before. Cameras were rolling as Trump headed to the offices of New York's Attorney General. She's been investigating whether Trump's company used fraudulent or misleading asset valuations to gain several economic benefits. This is a civil investigation, but Trump has to be careful about what he says because there's a parallel criminal investigation going on, too, at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Trump has always denied any wrongdoing, but didn't answer the Attorney General's questions under oath today. So here's where things stand with the investigation right now. Sources tell the Associated Press Trump's oldest children, Donald Jr. and Ivanka, testified in recent days. His son Eric testified back in 2020. Court papers show he invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 500 times. Attorney General Letitia James has said her office is nearing the end of the investigation, and the former president's deposition was one of the final missing pieces. Depending on the evidence, the Attorney General could bring a lawsuit seeking financial penalties against Trump or his company, or even ban them from being involved in certain types of businesses. The New York Attorney General is a Democrat, but court filings say she has found, quote, significant evidence Trump's company exaggerated the value of its holdings or misstated what land was worth to slash taxes. Trump calls the moves common practice in the real estate industry. So, Karen, we'll keep you posted on what happens, and we'll have an update coming up on the news at 5. For now, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
Well, has America's record-setting inflation finally peaked? New consumer numbers show small signs of hope. Consumer prices were still up 8.5% in July compared to last year, but that's down from the 9% jump we saw in June. Falling gas prices helped ease the pressure, but many Americans are struggling to keep up with those still rising prices on food, rent, and medical services. And we still have a way to go. The Federal Reserve has said it needs to see a series of declining numbers before it will consider pausing interest rate hikes. Today, President Joe Biden signed the biggest expansion of veterans' health care benefits in more than 30 years. The new law increases veterans' access to medical treatments and disability payments for exposure to burn pits. The military used the pits to burn waste, often toxic, near its bases. Exposure to the smoke has been blamed for a variety of health problems. Comedian and activist Jon Stewart was among the guests on hand. He campaigned to help get the bill passed. Well, most of us are happy if we can get our dogs maybe to sit, stay, beg for a treat perhaps, but these talented canines are learning to do so much more. You might see some of the graduates at a big sporting event or perhaps the airport showing off what they learned. Local 4's Kim DeGiulio here to show us what it takes to get certified for life-saving jobs.
Explosive detective canine teams can literally save thousands of lives by preventing things like bombings or other catastrophic events. But before they can get to work, they have to be certified to do so, which brings us here to Little Caesars Arena. They may be absolutely adorable, but these dogs are not here to be played with or pet. They're working.
The goal is to ensure that canine teams around the country are able to find contemporary threats.
Working to detect 10 different types of explosives that can be found inside of these tins.
What it does is validate that no matter what training program you go through, that you're proficient at finding these different explosives.
James, lead instructor for the ATF National Odor Recognition Testing Program, explains why his team travels around the country testing these bomb dogs for their proficiency.
The most common final response is the dog sits next to the source of the explosives.
Each dog walks around a circle, sniffing into each can. The dog will then have to discriminate between explosive and non-explosive odors. They're then rewarded with a treat or a toy and positive affirmation. Once these dogs pass the ATF NORT tests, they're able to work at large events where explosives may be found.
Like an athletic event, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, parades, concerts, you see them in the transportation environment, both mass transit like trains, but also airports. And so it's pretty widespread wherever there are large public gatherings and there's the potential for a threat.
James says training and testing like this is crucial to keeping those large events safe. Now, these dogs have to be so precise with this testing that if they even miss one canister with explosives in it, then they'll fail the test. Reporting from LCA, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Kim. And by the way, if the dog fails the test twice, they can't retest for a whole nother year. And while it is a strict policy, the agent says these dogs need to be perfect because one missed smell at an actual event can cost the lives of far too many people.